During the Green All-Optical Forum on February the 28th, IDATE and Huawei shared their thoughts on all-optical network, which was very impressive. As far as I know, after the forum, you both have further exchanges with different operators and industry organisation leaders. I wonder if you can share their feedback and main concerns.
Yes, indeed. We agreed that fiber network is key to reach CO2 reduction targets. In the reports that IDATE has published, we have demonstrated that CO2 reduction was actually part of the fiber strategy of operators, not only telecom operators, but also industrial players. We have to keep in mind that fiber network can potentially reduce worldwide CO2 reduction by 1.6 gigatons per year.
We have had in-depth communications with operators in many countries. All-optical network is the trend for the future. Facing this trend, operators are more concerned about how to reduce the energy consumption per bit. We're doing three things to achieve that. One is to reduce the energy consumption at equipment and site level. To be specific, we're using equipment and our technologies to help us to do that. For example, during the MWC, we have released the fiber to the room, the FTTR solution. This solution is essentially extending fiber connections to every room to provide large bandwidth and low latency experiences. That is an equipment and the site level solution. Another thing we're doing is to lower energy consumption through systematic architecture, such as our OXC technology that helps us to deploy all optical networks in the backbone, metro, and access. In this way, we're able to provide large bandwidth for transmission while keeping the power consumption low. The third is to have green operations. When operating a network, a telecom operator can refer to the scenario of a user, including the use of the network, to intelligently change the power consumption. These are the three things we're doing to be green. There are also three important elements that operators are taking into considerations.
Okay, it seems this forum has indeed brought a lot of inspiration to all parties in the industry. Then I would like to ask Mr. Jean-Luc, as a well-known ICT consulting company, what key tasks do you think are needed to further promote the entire industry, especially operators, to form a consensus on building a green all-optical network to reduce carbon emissions?
Well, as discussed during the forum, there is already a large consensus in Europe among telecom operators and regulatory authorities on the role of ICT technologies. A key task would be to create an incentive environment to deploy CO2 state-of-the-art technologies, especially on the telecom core network. Upgrading equipment would create more potential to reduce CO2.
Well, it does seem to be a challenging but meaningful thing to push for an industry consensus. Back to the goal of all these activities, I would like to ask Mr. Jeffrey, well, we'll take fixed broadband and transport network as an example. What do you think are the top two questions to be considered for operators to achieve carbon neutrality? What are Huawei's corresponding suggestions?
Telecom operators are providing telecommunication services as well as ICT services. A telecommunication network from backbone to metro to access are all part of the communication network. In a network, there are data centers consuming energy. In our opinion, the first thing we need to do is to address the low-hanging fruits. Take access as an example. Access network is connecting homes, users, and also enterprises. If we can reduce the power consumption of the access network, we can quickly reduce the total consumption. I believe operators and equipment vendors should work together to make the access network green. Again, I'd like to mention our new solution, the FTTR, which is extending fiber connections to each room. Based on a rough calculation, each user is able to save 150 kilowatt-hour electricity every year. Then multiply that figure by thousands, if not tens of thousands users. We can see the power reduced will be significant. I think operators can start with the access to rebuild the access network into a green network. Also, in the entire ICT network. The large scale, the underlying network, which is considered to be the basic network, should opt for optical technologies. They are the more advanced technologies. In this way, we can save energy and reduce the emissions. In the future, users, including homes, individuals, and enterprises, will be connected to cloud to access services on cloud. Then between the user and cloud, we rely on the all-optical network to transmit data. So operators need to think about how to deploy high-capacity all-optical networks to reduce energy consumption per bit. I think these are the two top questions we need to consider.
Perfect. I believe that with the pioneering exploration by industry leaders like IDATE and Huawei, the green all-optical network will surely develop more vigorously. Last question. Please share with us what action plans your teams have on green development issue in the next 2 to 3 years.
Well, on that side, as a market research and consulting group, we will keep extending our research effort on ICT and CO2 reduction. As a world-class consulting firm working on fiber network technology and strategy, we will keep exploring how our client can improve the use of the fiber network to reduce CO2 emission.
For us, as an equipment vendor, we would like to continuously innovate technologies in order to reduce power consumption and emission on all optical network. In particular, our goal has always been reducing the energy consumption per bit. That is our general goal. When it comes to telecommunication network, or to say the all-optical communication network, we'd like to make sure in the backbone, metro, and access in each of these scenarios, the most advanced technologies will be adopted to ensure large bandwidth and low latency data transmission. In the meanwhile, we'll strive to reduce the energy consumption per bit. That is what we should do as an equipment vendor.
Thank you both for sharing those insights, and for everybody watching, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.